I'm Dr. Angela McBurdy of DoctorFlute.com. Today's video is on comparing 3 professional flutes. Today I have 3 professional flutes from Flute Center, FluteCenter.com. And if you like any of these instruments and you'd like to do a flute trial, contact Flute Center from their website, FluteCenter.com. Use my code, DRFLUTE. And when you do a flute trial and you use my code, it gives you a couple perks. And one of those is you get free shipping, 10% off sheet music. You can also have, when you purchase, an 18-month warranty instead of a 12-month warranty. And on your trial, instead of a 7-day flute trial, you'll get a 10-day flute trial. And I think that's huge. The longer you have to try out your instruments in the comfort of your own house, in the setting with which you practice, will give you the best idea of what instrument you should buy. Well, today I'm going to compare 3 flutes. I'm going to play them, do a little bit of talking about them, and then at the very end of the video, I will put 3 little clips of me playing these instruments so you can hear them side by side and decide which one you like better. Because it's kind of fun to just listen blindly and not know which one is which, and just say, okay, which one do you think sounds better? I do think it's different. Sometimes it's good to record yourself because it's different playing it and how you hear it, and also then how you hear it from a recording. So it's always great to record yourself. So this one right here is a Haynes coin silver professional model flute. It's a beautiful, beautiful flute. This head joint has the Nagog head joint cut. It's a Nagog cut here. And I think it's a gorgeous instrument. I love this head joint. This is 0.014 thickness, so it's the lighter thickness, and I can tell in how it feels in my hands. It's a little bit on the lighter side. That usually means it's going to have a brighter side to it. Now I'm going to compare that to a Powell flute that's also 0.014, and then I'm going to compare those 2 flutes to a Brannen flute, and it's a 0.016. So it's not quite apples to apples. We have a little bit different in weight and tubing thickness. So the thickness, it will go a little bit heavier with the 0.016. And so if you had 0.16 of the Haynes and 0.016 of the Powell, you would probably compare a little bit differently. But right now, this is what I have. And I think you can hear a really cool difference. And you know what? All of these sound great. All of these would be fantastic buys. In the end, it amounts to, what do you like better? What does your ear want to hear? So this is the Haynes. And I love this instrument, but I'm a Haynes player to begin with, so it feels very comfortable in my hands, and the way it plays is what I'm comfortable with. So when you're doing a flute trial, just because a flute feels different in your hands doesn't mean it's not as good. It just means it's made a little bit differently, and you'll get used to that too. I would get used to any of these instruments, but right now it's a Haynes, and it's what I'm comfortable with. But this is not my Haynes. This is I have a gold riser on mine. This is coin silver, and it has a silver riser. So let me play a little bit here. Right now, what I'm noticing is not so much the tone. I think it's a beautiful tone. I love the richness of that low register, but how easy it is in this cantabile presto to go from your E flat to D, or the A flat down to your low C, and back up to the E flat and down to the D. All this pinky movement over here is so smooth. It's just, oh, so nice. And you can tell that's a professional model flute because that is such a nice movement there. But I think this register is really beautiful. It has a little little bit, I think, in that low register, a brighter tone quality for that low register. But I think it still has a really good richness, and it's just not too dark. But I think that also has something to do with this Nagog cut of this head joint here. Let's play something a little bit higher. The ease of which this speaks is fabulous. I think that middle register area that I was just playing in, kind of middle C to high C, oh, beautiful. I love the way it is. And I do think, oh, it's so easy to taper on this. I'm not sure if it's that just because of how it's cut that does it. It's just the whole instrument altogether, or if it's the silver, but tapering is fabulous. I love that. It's really responsive. Okay, now I'm going to try the Powell. So I now have the Powell flute here. This is another 0.014 in tubing thickness. It is sterling silver, top to bottom, the riser, the lip plate, the head joint, all the way down. So let's compare some of those same passages to that Haynes that I just played. So there's that low register. It's very beautiful. I feel like it's a little bit brighter than the Haynes, and that could have to do with the cut of the lip plate here. This is a Piedmont cut, and each flute manufacturer has their own style of a cut, and you need to read about that if you're looking at flutes. But make sure that if you're going to do a flute trial, you try out a couple different head joints with your flute, because one head joint can sound on the same flute body can sound very different from another head joint. And you know, if you're going to spend that kind of money, you want the right head joint that works for you. This is a beautiful instrument. I think the response time is pretty good. For me, I think maybe it's a little bit too, maybe the tone is spread a little bit too much for me. I'm not sure I get the precise tone that I'm looking for, but you tell me what you think. Let's try this other section. It still is a really lovely sound. I do think it's a great instrument. Let's try some tapers and see how they sound. Are they easy to do, or does it cause me a lot of work? Well, I think that's just as easy. I do think it was a little bit easier on the Haynes flute to do those tapers. I do feel like the whole flute is brighter in sound than the Haynes flute was. But again, it's a preference choice. Maybe you like that brighter sound. For me, I like it a little bit darker. It's maybe not the sound I would be looking for, but I still think it's a fabulous tone, and maybe you're inclined to think about having a brighter tone that's right there in front of you, rather than that little bit of a darker sound. So, beautiful instrument. It's a great choice. Well, now I think it's time to try the Brannen. I have the Brannen with me now, and this is a .016. So that's going to compare a little bit differently, because that tubing thickness, it does matter. I think the heavier you go from the .014 to .018, the flute sound gets a little bit darker. I'll show you what I mean here. I definitely hear a richer, darker sound here in this low register. Let's try the middle register. And it definitely is rich. I hear the tone darkening up a little bit. There's more of a honey sound, maybe the dark amber colored honey in this. And I think that difference really is that thickness, but that might not be what you're looking for. To me, this is the sound I really like. And I like that it doesn't have any gold. Like, I play with a gold riser on my instrument, just that tiny little bit of gold. But sometimes just that silver sound that it has just a little bit of a tension in it, is the sound I'm looking for that really gets me excited about it. Let's try tapering. Now, one thing I notice, I feel like the response is quicker on this instrument than the other two. That sound just appears. It appears out of nowhere. Oh, tapering is a dream. That's a dream. I don't have to work at all. I feel like on my flute, I think my flute needs a little bit of work. So I think this is probably the issue. It needs to go to a technician. But tapering is a little bit of work on my instrument to make it sound just fabulous. This tapering, beautiful, beautiful. Oh yeah, the response is just phenomenal on this. So this is a Brannen, and it is silver all the way through. It's a fabulous, fabulous instrument. So if you like any of these flutes that you hear today, make sure you do a flute trial with Flute Center, and one of these could be yours. Go to the end of the video also, where I will play little clips of each of these instruments and see which one do you like better, what appeals to you. And I know which one I like the best. That's today's video.